hate doing this. I'm sure a lot of you can relate, but yes, you've read the title correctly. I am selling my beloved, wonderful 1986 CRX, and it makes me really, really sad, and I'll get into why later on in the video, but I figured these last few moments that I have with the CRX, just kind of like getting it ready, everything kind of cleaned up, I wanted to share with you guys. There are a ton of parts that will come with the CRX as I'm selling it with the new owner, so I have to go ahead and sort through everything, figure out like what's tools and what's parts, and make sure everything's organized for the new owner. It's bittersweet, but I promise you guys that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I know originally a lot of you guys had followed me and found me originally because of my CRX, but you know, to grow and to get closer to my goals and dreams, I unfortunately right now just cannot bring the CRX with me. You know, sometimes you have to make sacrifices for things that you want in life, and this is just something that it's been kind of coming. I've tried really, really hard to hold on to this car as long as I could. But yeah, today's kind of the day when I say bye-bye. So I kind of made a mess of my garage again, but honestly, I forget how much CRX stuff I had until one, I moved to this garage, and I even like threw out a bunch of stuff that was just kind of useless, but I still have just a ton of CRX parts. It's just a little bit mind-blowing how many parts I just kind of collected over the years, because for these cars specifically, they stopped making parts for them, and because for these cars, because they're one, so old, two, they didn't make a whole lot of parts for them back then, it's really hard to find parts, so I would just kind of hoard whatever I could find, and I just kind of like collected it. So we have like a bumper, body panels, nose panels, we have rocker arms in there, we have a whole passenger seat still, tires, everything in this trunk is going from transmission mounts to wheel bearings to covers, headlights, belts, flywheels, shifter bushings, and you name it. And that's just everything in here. We got a whole bunch more stuff in here. Like in the car itself, I have like transmission cases, tons of gears, springs, just all sorts of stuff. So I'm a little happy to be kind of getting rid of all this stuff. Just kind of like moving on and not having to collect and hoard stuff anymore, just to be able to build a car. Bye-bye. Hasta la vista. So there you have it. The CRX is officially sold and out of my life. And for the first time in 8 years, I do not own a first gen Honda CRX. It's weird. Like, I've always had one, and it makes me really, really sad that it's gone. But even though I'm sad, I'm very excited. And so I'm here to kind of explain to you guys not only why I sold it, but kind of like what a CRX means to me. So in general, I don't know if you guys know, but I've had 4 first-gen CRXs. I know, especially on the East Coast and the mid-northern, like, because most of them are just rusted, destroyed, and brittle, and just aren't worth having because they're just disintegrated with the amount of rust and just sun in this area. But my first car that I ever bought with my own money was a 1987 Honda CRX SI, manual, no power steering, no ABS, no airbags. It was just raw driving and raw car, and I loved it. That's the car that got me into cars, and I fell in love with just driving, the driving experience. And unfortunately, it was in an accident in a parking lot. Someone had just backed into it, and it had destroyed the front bumper, the hood, the left and right fenders, because most of it was plastic. So all of it was destroyed, and the insurance company couldn't source the parts to fix it. So they had totaled it. I bought it back for like $200, and I used that money that was paid out for it being totaled to buy another one because I loved it so much. And that one had a giant rust hole in it. But anyway, that first CRX, I had learned everything on, from engine swaps to oil changes to taking off a wheel to overhauling the brake system, like all of that. I learned everything on a first gen CRX. And that yellow specific CRX had so much racing history I had bought it in pieces. It was the first car that I had kind of put together, built the transmission, put everything together, rebuilt the carburetors. Like, I had learned so much on that car, and it just makes me really sad to kind of sell it before I had really gotten to drive it the way that I wanted to. But I am happy that I got to put it together and get it running and kind of feel what it's like to have all of that. Like, I did get to experience a little bit. I just wasn't able to take it to the level that I wanted to. That's kind of the way it goes sometimes. So some of the reasons why I've sold it, and I know a lot of you are here for the CRX. I know a lot of you had found me because of the CRX and are really interested and attached to it, just like I am. Mostly because I want to move forward with my motorsports career and I want to race. And the purpose of building something for me is not to build something to have or to show. It's to build something to then use it, right? Like, build a track car and then drive it on the track, or like upgrade the suspension and then go try it out, right? Like, so there's always like a purpose built. 2020 was my year for racing. I wanted to start getting into racing. I wanted to try different styles of racing, from track to rally to drifting. I wanted to try something, find out what it was that I really was able to connect to and enjoy the most out of all the styles of racing, and then really go full on in one of those styles of racing. Like, is to just go out there and send it, have some fun. And unfortunately, the CRX is not something that I can do for the certain types of styles that I want to race. First off, it's front wheel drive. Second off, when you race a car, things break, right? That's what happens. And for a first gen CRX, there just is not the aftermarket support out there. Like, there's little to no aftermarket parts for this car. Like, you can't even buy OEM fuel injectors. You can't like just buy aftermarket headers for that car. You just can't. They're just not out there. They weren't made for very long. There wasn't a big racing thing for them back in the day, and there just wasn't. Now for the second gen, there was a dual wishbone suspension, a lot of aftermarket parts for it. But my heart was at the first gen CRX. And if I'm trying to get more seat time, right? Because the purpose of this is to have more seat time instead of trying to build something the whole time. And if you think about it, if you're racing and something breaks or whatever, I'm going to be stuck, because it's not just going to be an easy part swap or an easy fix, because there just isn't that aftermarket support for racing those cars anymore. And for a lot of those reasons, that's why I don't want to race the CRX. Not only that, but no one tunes carburetors, right? It's like, that's just like, I was trying to find someone within my local area to kind of help me tune my carburetors so I can get them synced and just on the road. And even someone who does work on carburetors, they only do American Muscle, and it's just was really frustrating. No one knew, if anyone in my area, that could have helped me really tune my carburetors just to get it on the road and running smoothly. So to then have someone to help me tune it like just all the time for racing was just something that just seemed not unattainable, but would require so much time and energy and focus in my attention I just feel like that same amount of time, focus, and energy spent on doing those minute small things just because there isn't an aftermarket support for that type of chassis or build or whatever. If I were to take that time and focus and put it into something where there are a lot of aftermarket support for, there are a lot of people, where there is a lot of aftermarket part support, where there are a lot of people who build and race those cars, because this is something that I want to have more seat time with. I don't want to be taking months and months and months to build something. I want to be out there in the seat. I really want to be driving, and I don't have a lot of that right now on my channel, and that's something I really want to get into. And I just think having the CRX as my race car, I would really be limiting myself. I really want to progress and move forward with my motorsports career. I think it's fun. I'm not necessarily looking to become a pro, but that's something I want to do. And having the CRX, like I said, will just limit me and my options, possibilities, or even brand support. Like, think of what brands make anything for that car anymore. Little to no one. So even if I had kept the CRX and gotten a third car to build, race, and drive, whatever, right? Like that was also an option that I was debating. If I had gone that way, one, I would be limiting my resources such as space, money, and my focus, right? Like I would always have that car in the back of my mind, like I need attention, I need to be tuned, I need this, right? So I'm always like, the whole point of me having less cars, really downsizing the things that I have and things that I need monthly, was so that I could direct my focus to where I want to go. If I were to direct my focus, you know, in one way, the CRX is just not there. Or if I were to direct my focus into the CRX, it's just not going to open doors for me to where I do want to go. You know, like I want to go far. I want to, like, I really just want to freaking send it. I really just want to go out there to the moon, to the planets, to the stars. And I love the CRX so much, but I just don't think that it's going to be a vessel that's going to take me there. And it makes me really, really sad to sell it. And it makes me really, really sad to get rid of all of the parts that I had collected over the years. But I know that it's a necessary sacrifice for me to get to my goals and achieve them. And after crying for several days about it, like I cried when the guy came over and gave me a deposit, I cried when he drove it away, I cried even when I posted it for sale. Like it was really, really, really difficult for me to sell that car. I had just an emotional attachment with it, as I do with all my cars, whatever, I'm a girl. But so thus I've made the decision to sell my beloved CRX. But I do want you guys to know that even though I had sold it for more than what I was originally like looking to get, it is in the hands of someone within that old school Honda community, that first gen CRX community, to someone who really appreciates it, all of the parts that are on it, and you know, was really, really excited to have that in his garage and is so thankful that he had found it. So that alone gives me enough satisfaction and makes me happy to know that piece that was a part of my journey had gotten me to where I am today is now in good hands and will be taken care of. Makes me feel better. I am very excited to share with you the next car that I will have in my life that will take me to the next level. Like I'm genuinely excited for that. I know a lot of you like the CRX, care about the CRX, are attached to it, and I'm just thankful that a lot of you have stuck by my side and been here through my YouTube, whatever thing, whatever it is that I'm doing. I'm here, you're here, my journey, my storytelling of what I'm doing. I'm genuinely happy that you're here with me, and I hope that you will continue to be with me as I move forward with my journey and trying to achieve my goals. And I will say, when you have really good clarity on like where you want to go in your life and the goals that you have, makes it much easier to make hard decisions like this. Like I know where I want to go, I know what it takes to get there, and this is something that is now starting to hinder me because of my limited resources. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to make that sacrifice to help push me towards where I really want to go. And on that note, I'm going to end this video here, a little bit of on a sad note, but I promise it will be worth it. And I'm very excited to show you guys the next car that's going to be here. I'm very, very excited. Thank you so much for being here, being a part of my journey. I always appreciate you guys. And I'm happy to be able to share my experiences and my journey here with you. Like, comment, subscribe. It always helps me. I love engaging with you guys. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.
Believe in make believe, just make your ends meet. Say a weekend and a week and never stress a thing. And we gon' go another day when we don't disagree. sunshine here regardless if you do believe. Hey, celebrate in the morning when I see your face. Need you more when you go, I need you more every day. Keep a foot on the brake in case I lose all control. Yeah, so baby don't lose control. I'm focused on you, baby. Lately you've been in my aim. I've been reaching out for you and still they're so far away. Looking through the smoke in the mirror. Crazy how I see you so clear. Crazy how I see you so clear. And how you make me smile. And how you make me smile, oh yeah.